Okay, I think that's most of the attendees that have joined now. So we're just going to we're going to start the webinar. So thank you all for joining us today for this Adobe and Microsoft webinar. As we're going to discuss creativity meets productivity. So my name's Owen Williams and I'm the business development manager here at Pew. And I'm joined today by Tom from Adobe, who's the education business architect. We got a really good relationship with with Adobe here at Pew, and I've done for many years. And as you can see on the screen, we're one of the 4 education elite partners in the UK. So Tom today is going to go through how Adobe can integrate with Microsoft and show you a lot of the functions of that. And then after that, I'll go through a few slides of the products that we think really will complement your creativity and productivity. If you have any questions for Tom, please send them in, and we'll do a Q&A at the end. And if you have any further questions about licensing or any other products I've spoken about, send in your questions, and Ellie and Simon from our creative team will get back to you after the event. So that's enough from me for now. I'm going to bring Tom in now.
Okay, thank you, Owen.
Tom.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a quick introduction. So I work at Adobe as a business education architect. I was a teacher for 14 years in a secondary school in Bournemouth in the UK. And more recently, I've written exam questions for cert support for the Microsoft Office exams and the Adobe ACA exams. What I'll do today is take you through how we can integrate some of our tools within Microsoft Teams to make it a more efficient workflow, and also easier for your teachers and your students to kind of submit work as well. So what I've got here is a Teams for Education setup, and this is my teacher's view. One of the first things I'm going to do in Teams is I'm going to jump into Adobe Spark. Now, Adobe Spark is free for education, but is also included in Creative Cloud, and they get the premium features. So if you've got Adobe Spark, this is a specific Spark graphic, and you can customize a template or a size. This is 918 by 120 pixels. It's something that Microsoft Teams needs as a banner. So I've created my simple message, and I'm just going to download this as a PNG file and show you how I'd use this. And from being a regular Teams user day in, day out, your Teams stream gets filled up with lots of chat and lots of messages. And how can you actually get things to stand out? So if I start a new chat here and then click on this format option, I can then bring in it to show a new conversation or an announcement. With the announcement, I have the ability here to add an image, and I'm going to upload the image, and that was specifically from my Spark, so my download. So there's my lesson message, and quickly I can bring that into my banner and type in a message. Lesson starts in 5 minutes, and then post that message out. And that now stands out quite clearly in Teams. So just something simple, not even going into loads of detail, but if you've got lots of teachers, lecturers using Teams and they want things to stand out to their audience, then absolutely creating a simple graphic can just make it stand out a bit more. So the next thing I'm going to do is show how you would set an assignment from a teacher or lecturer's point of view for your students to then submit their work. So in Teams, you have the assignments option. And then from here, you can create an assignment. So this is just going to be a standard assignment. The first one I'm going to start with Adobe Spark, and then I'll also show Creative Cloud. So Spark lesson. And in here, I can add in my instructions where I could say, please use the following template to create your graphic. And then in the resource, I have on a clipboard, let me just get my file. I have a Spark graphic that I'm going to just paste in as a web resource. So in here, I've got upload files. I can click on link, and I'm just going to paste my link into there and click on attach. So I need to spell graphic. There we are. So I've got everything. I can set my rubrics and other things, which I'm not going to do today, and then I can assign this. So That will then be sent to all the students in my class, and I'll have another window for my student, and I get my notification to say that there's my lesson message, but I've also got my assignment, so I can view this assignment. I can go in, and then there is my reference material. So I click on that, and that will take me to a Spark graphic that I've made. Now, a little tip here, if you create a graphic and you want students to be able to edit it, currently, if you open that on an iPad and share it, it gives you the option to share it as a template. So then I can just remix this template and save this to my own work. So I've got a file that's got those graphics in. So these eyes I can move around, I can rotate them, I can duplicate them, I can add text to my graphic. There's loads you can do with Spark, but I'm not going to show you too much about using Spark here. When I'm happy, I can either share the graphic, and this will generate a URL. The thing with the URL is the student can go and change that URL. So change the content of the URL. So if you're collecting work in as a teacher or a lecturer and they submit you the link, then there is a chance that that student could go in after the deadline and change the link. So just something to be aware of when submitting work from Spark. So I can copy it there. Or I have the ability to download this as a PNG, JPEG, or a PDF. So PDF would be really if it was A4 page and we wanted it to print out definitely to the right size. So I can start my download there. So as my student, I can then add my work and I can upload from the device. So I can go to my downloads and there's my graphic. Wait for that to upload, have a sip of water. And then the other thing I can do is click done there, and I'm going to add the link as well. So I've got the ability to add the link there and attach that. So as a student, I then turn it in, and that's then handed in, and I get a nice unicorn telling me that I've done great work. So I go back to my teacher view, I go into my assignments, and I should see in my Spark lesson that I've handed it in, and I can then see the graphic in the browser without having to download or open it, or I can click on the Spark graphic and it'll open that graphic for me in a separate window. So I can then give my feedback to the students and return that work. So that's just a quick overview of Adobe Spark and Microsoft Teams. So I'm back in my teacher. Let me check which one I'm in because they look so similar. That's my student view. So I'm back in my teacher view here. At this time, I want to think about how I can integrate some Creative Cloud documents. And one of the big things is that programs like Photoshop now, when you save a file, it asks you, do you want to save it to the cloud first, or do you want to save it to your local device? And it's starting to make use of Creative Cloud storage natively. What you can do in Teams is you can add Creative Cloud into your Teams channel. And what this will do is if you haven't used it before, it allows you to log into your Creative Cloud account. And you can then find any files that you've got in Creative Cloud, you can search for them and just add them into the chat. It will take about 2 or 3 seconds and it will then generate the graphic and a link to that graphic. And I can post that to my Teams channel. So I could be sharing a library, and I'll talk about libraries a bit later on in terms of improving productivity with some of the other tools, but I can post that straight into the Teams channel. The other thing I can do is I can set an assignment, and this assignment I'm going to set is an assignment for Creative Cloud. So last time it was a Spark assignment, and this time it's going to be Photoshop, for example. So task. And then in my instructions, use the following: Photoshop, file, not spell today, trying to do it too quickly. PS, that will do, file, copy to your CC folder. And then what I do this time is if I go to my Adobe Creative Cloud, so adobe.com, and then click on Creative Cloud or assets.adobe.com, your files are stored in the cloud. So this is a Photoshop file that I actually created using Photoshop on the iPad. But at the bottom here, I can click on this and I can get a link. This link, I can then share this with my students and I can allow them to copy it to their own Creative Cloud. So if I just copy that link, and then I would go to the assignment. So too many browsers open, let's go back. And in the resource, just like I did before, I'd click on link and I'll paste that link in there and attach that. And then assign that to my students. So that's done. I should get a notification as my student to say that I've got another assignment come in. Here we go. Photoshop task, nice and quick. So I click on the view assignment and it's saying use the following and copy it to your file. And then, so I click on this and it takes me to the Creative Cloud folder online. And at the top, I could just click on this blue file and that will copy that Photoshop file directly to my Creative Cloud folder. So I haven't had to upload zip files, download files. It's all happening within the cloud, which is really quite handy to do. So I can then do my work, and as a teacher, I'd give a few more instructions than I have here. But when I'm ready to hand it in, I could either do the same in terms of the student copying the URL, or I could upload the file to my OneDrive. So here's a file here and select it, or I could upload a file from my device. So I've got 3 different methods. Again, if you've got the actual file rather than a link to a file, then the authenticity of that document is maintained on the hand-in date, which is quite important. And we are working with Microsoft about making this even more seamless, that you'll be able to search for files, select them from a window, and that takes a copy of it rather than the URL. So
sorry to interrupt, Tom.
Yeah,
we just had a question to see if everyone, someone can't hear. So can I just check that everyone can hear us there? If someone could write in the question then.
I taught in a school near Bournemouth, so if you answer that, which school, where did I teach, then we can know you can hear, because it's very difficult one-way webinars.
Yeah.
Anyone written the right answer?
Just bear with me.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I think people can hear. So
Okay.
we'll try and deal with that.
All right.
You carry on, Tom. Sorry about that.
It will be available online afterwards as well. So if there's problems, they can get to it. So I'm now going to turn in my file. Again, I haven't chosen this unicorn, but it seems to keep appearing. So I will then go back in as the teacher view, and I can see that my Photoshop task is here. Sometimes it takes a few seconds to turn in. So there we go. We can see it's turned in. And that Photoshop file, even though it's an attached PSD file, has opened up in the browser. I'm not even in the Teams application. I'm just using a web browser to view Teams. And so I could give my feedback on this product without opening up Photoshop, without having to download it and reopen it. So from a teacher point of view, really easy. And if other students have done it, I can click next and see their work as well. So a really efficient workflow in collecting documents from the students and giving feedback, which is the most important thing. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to then talk about was about productivity and libraries. And one of the libraries that I've created, if I go into this one, is I actually have these library folders in Creative Cloud. And I know I've got some people on here that look after brands for universities, and I've created a library for Pew for this event. A library is a collection of assets. It could be graphics, so logos and different photos that you've either licensed or can use. And if students are working as part of multiple teams, how you can make sure that the content they're using a standard set of assets. So think of a library as a shared set of assets. I can share a library out with other users. So if I want to share this library, I can allow other people to have access to it, to either edit it or just view only access to the library. And where the libraries become really powerful with more integration with tools like Adobe is Word. So in Microsoft Word now, you can add an add-in to Word, which is Creative Cloud Libraries. And even though I might not have created this library, I could share it with my whole organization or the brand team. And I know when you're producing content, you want it to be on brand. And if they've got the assets easy to use, then even better. So this library is the Pew one, and I can just click on this icon and it brings that graphic straight in without me having to worry about multiple file types. Is it a PNG? Is it a JPEG? Is it an Illustrator file with the logo? I don't need to worry about that. I just bring it in from my library. The same thing is available. Because I've got a PowerPoint in the background, so I'm trying to really work my laptop hard today. Same thing's available in Creative Cloud on PowerPoint. So again, from PowerPoint, I can then bring in those same graphics. And just think about that from a student point of view, working on a project, designing a brand, making sure it's on message. I think we've got some simple designs that PowerPoint does for us there. Okay. Next thing is that I'm going to show you is using Teams again. So this time in Teams, what we've also done with PDF, and we're known as the PDF company, but PDF is a key document. I'm just going to open this SharePoint, this Teams folder in SharePoint. So if any of you didn't realize that whenever you create a Microsoft Teams site, it also creates a SharePoint site. And in this one, we've enabled Acrobat or Document Cloud within SharePoint online. So when I click on that file, it will open it in Document Cloud. And then that will allow me to do different things from here, where I can edit and organize the pages, combine the files, all within the browser. So if you've got users in your organization that need to create PDFs just from Word documents, combine them, take out pages, they can do that from within the browser with Creative Cloud, Document Cloud on SharePoint. So it's quite handy. And also adding things like comments to the document as well. So adding a comment, posting that against it and saving it back to SharePoint, all through the browser. And one of the big things we're working on is this, we're calling it frictionless PDFs, that you can do a lot of your tasks wherever you want to without having to use specific tools. But I will bring up the specific tool because again, with feedback and getting work marked and everything else, one of the things to think about is what you can do with a PDF is looking at the tools that you have available and the options. But the big one for me in terms of sending a PDF is if I sent this out as a student to get feedback, I have the option here to send it for comments, and it will share with me. I want to share shared commenting. Oh, I'm going mad here now. I've got the different file. Let me click on this one here. So I can choose to share the file. Let me get to the right thing. I was playing around with another option. If I allow the comments when I share the file, so this is going to share a URL, I can also add a deadline. So I can say to, if I'm asking for feedback on a document, I can also add a deadline. They won't be able to edit it after that. The difference with this share comments and putting their email is that the end user won't receive the PDF file. They'll receive a Document Cloud link, and they can add comments and you can respond to those comments on that file. One of the challenges I've had before is when sending a Word document and you've got track changes on and people are adding comments, is trying to keep on top of what changes need to be made and all those things there. So the next one I will show you again about going back to Teams. So is Adobe Sign. Now Adobe Sign is our digital signature workflow and is available. So think of it as Sign for work groups. So if you've got a department that are sending out contracts, sending out student contracts, needing to get things back in, rather than an individual, so a team of users, and needing to know where that document is, Adobe Sign can be integrated into Teams as well. And with Adobe Sign, I won't go into a deep dive, but you can add different stages to an approval process. So you can have different people signing, accepting, filling in a form. and this can be worked on as part of a team workflow. So the key thing with that is other members can see exactly where a document is. When a contract was sent out for signature, you can have standard contracts, standard templates you use for this as well. So you can bring Adobe Sign into Teams, and it's also embedded within Word and PowerPoint, so you can send a document for signature straight out of those tools as well as Teams. So the final one, and again, linking to the Microsoft theme, but also thinking about the current situation and the fact that everyone suddenly decided they need to record video lessons and the quality of those video lessons. How can you improve that really quickly? How can you have some kind of standard brand, standard look to those videos? Well, one of the things I've done, I'm just going to launch another tool called Adobe Premiere Rush. So I'm just going to bring it up from my lower screen here. Come on. There we go. So with Premiere Rush, let me just go to my documents and find a quick video. So I've got a video here of a rabbit. This you can record with Premiere Rush. You can record on an iPhone, on an iPad, on an Android tablet. You can it saves it directly to the cloud. You can edit it then either on those devices or open up your Windows or Mac computer and have access to those files. But what I did for this example is a little bit more technical, but you can create some titles using Premiere Pro and save them as libraries. So in here, the library that you saw, there's a Pew library, and I can then add a title to the beginning of my video. So let's drag it in front of the content there. And this title has a simple animation, and the lecturers can just go in and type and change the text. So you know that you've got a consistent start to your videos with the information you need, because I think at the moment there might be a flood of videos and different quality and sending it to people to top and tail. Well, if you share the library with them, they can top and tail it themselves. I also created a simple lower third title as well here, and I can just drag this on. And the power of Adobe Rush is that you can, if you need to trim a video clip down, you just slide it along, you click on the scissors to cut the video, you can then put another cut in and just delete things so it doesn't leave gaps like it would in Premiere Pro. You can save this out to Premiere Pro, and then what you would then do from here is quickly download the file so you can render it on your computer. You've got some standard settings, so it's really easy to do, not hundreds and hundreds of options. You can export that out and then upload that to Microsoft Stream for your internal video library, which will auto caption it for you as well. So what I've done is a real quick whistle stop really in terms of some of the tools and features using Creative Cloud, Microsoft Teams, and even Spark as well. So hopefully you found that really useful, probably quite quick, because I know I do these things relatively quickly, but I am available to go through any Q&A. What I'm going to do next is just hand back to Owen to take you through the next set of slides. Owen, any questions before we go to that section?
I think, like you said, it was a fantastic, I'm sure everyone agrees, a fantastic insight into how we can integrate Adobe into Microsoft Teams. And like you said there, if anybody has any more questions about that, please keep them coming in, and we'll do a Q&A with you at the end, Tom, if that's all right.
Okay. Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk to you briefly about just a few products that we see at Pew, that we supply, that we see that will really enhance your creative experience. As you can see on the screen there, so from the Jabra for your headsets, with the Microsoft Surfaces and the Lenovo's for your laptops or and desktops, with Logitech and the Jabra Panacast for your video and camera solutions, and then with the ViewSonic, Promethean and Smart for your interactive displays. So I'm just going to go into a bit more detail on these now. If I grab the next slide there, please, Tom. So we see the Microsoft Surface and the Lenovo ranges as the leading devices when it comes to laptop and desktops to enhance your creativity and productivity. This being due to their high technical spec, them being powerful and running resource-intensive tasks, and with a large storage space for files and devices and documents. Sorry. So with these devices, you'll have no more patchy video calls with poor sound and visuals, because they've got really high quality cameras, speakers, and mics all built into them. We see the Microsoft Surface, one of its biggest strengths is its ease of portability. I've actually experienced this myself. So we've got Surfaces here at Pew, and I've experienced it myself over the last few months working from home. I've been able to, grab and go, change my scenery, and avoid those distractions. So in my case, it's been the barking dogs and my wife's endless deliveries. Also then, when we're moving from the library and lecture hall, when we're back in the learning environment. As you can see on the screen as well, you can also add accessories like the pen and the dials to these surfaces, which again enhance creativity and work really well with the Adobe apps that Tom has spoken. With the Surface as well, it is actually you can get the Adobe Fresh, which is the painting app. Sorry, with the painting app, which is only available on the Surface at the moment. Was that right, Tom?
That's right, Adobe Fresco, which
Fresco,
is only available on Surface devices at the moment. It's available on a tablet, but in terms of Windows machines, just the Surface.
Thank you very much. And then, with the Lenovo range, it's a great product. They are great products to consider due to the robustness. So it's ideal in an educational environment when you're moving from place to place. So if we move on to headsets, then please, Tom. Perfect. So yeah, we see the Jabra Evolve 2 as the best in class when it comes to headset ranges. As I've highlighted on the first slide there, its greatest quality is how it can help us concentrate and collaborate. As I previously mentioned, due to the unusual circumstances we see ourselves at the moment, I'm sure it's been difficult to create that working or learning environment at home, either with hyperactive children running around or competing with family members for that quiet space. Well, this can be a thing of the past, as the range has better noise cancellation than ever before. And I'm sure you've experienced it when you're on a really important call, or you're on a really engaging webinar and your battery's about to run out. Well, this is a thing of the past. As you can see, it's got 37-hour battery life, which gives you the ability to be able to work the whole working week without this fear. We've also got other headsets here, as you can see on the screen, with the Andrea Communications and the Avid headsets, which are really competitively priced. So you can, we really do have a headset to cater for your needs. So soon, hopefully, we'll be returning to the office or the learning environment. As you can see, we've got a range of interactive displays from the ViewSonic, Promethean, and Smart ranges. These will help enhance creativity due to their improved clarity and their latest software. So also, which is really important to consider at the moment when we're looking to implement social distancing measures, which I'm sure is at the top of your agenda. For instance, you could add the Jabra Panicast video solution, like you can see in the top right of your screen there. And this will enable students learning from home to feel part of the lecture by enabling them to see their fellow students, the lecturer, and the actual resources being shared, due to having such a wide lens camera. So this feature enables the high standards of teaching and learning to continue, whether it be video conferencing, virtual seminars, or in lectures. So please don't forget to get in touch if you want any more information about the hardware I've spoken about, and we can tailor a perfect solution for you when it comes to your Microsoft Teams and hardware. So as well as software and hardware solutions, we also do professional managed services. We're a Microsoft Education Gold partner, which we have the expertise to get the most out of your Microsoft Teams package. So we've seen these as 3 levels that we offer. So if you need an immediate remote learning solution, our Teams Quick Start service would be the perfect one for you. So we tailor this to you, listen to your requirements, and come up with a plan, and we give you guidance and technical support throughout. Another level to our services is, as you're already on this live event today, I assume you've got some experience using Teams, but if you need help rolling it out across all users, or you want to enable additional features like hosting a live event or integrating Adobe into your Teams, we're here to help with this. Lastly, we offer technical support and consultancy to help you migrate your telephony to your Microsoft Teams. So this is a fantastic option, as it can be done on most devices and from anywhere with the internet connection. So we've actually implemented this at Pew over the last few months, and it really has transformed the way we work. So if you have any questions about our services or how we can tailor it to you, please get in contact with us. So that's all from the products that I'm going to talk about today, and we really see that they're a great option to help you enhance with your Adobe and Microsoft Teams. So if you have any questions about what I've spoken about or any further licensing questions, you've got LD and Simon from our creative teams information on the slide there.